when it comes to politics, it's the same as marketing or any type of product. There's bad production, and there's bad marketing, and there's bad consumers. What we have is a revelation, a situation where things are being revealed, which, if you ask yourself, these things really aren't being revealed. It's just that they're becoming more obvious. You got Kamala Harris, who has unclear policy positions and a very disrespectful campaign towards black voters, in particular black male voters. And instead of bringing people to you who can substantiate her positions and tell you how a Kamala Harris presidency is going to improve and advance your life, she brings to you Usher and Beyonce and Eminem and Lizzo for a concert. Right. And one of the reasons why somebody would do that is a distraction. It is a deflection. We're going to have this entertainment rich presentation that is policy deficient. Why is that? We're doing that because we want to distract you from the fact that we have nothing to offer. You have invaluable votes that can be provided to us, but we actually have no plans and we have nothing for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you empty items. We're going to give you empty promises. We're going to give you empty entertainment. What kind of policy is Beyonce going to tell you about? The only thing that Beyonce can tell you about as far as politics is how the Hollywood circle is entrenched directly into the DNC media machine. And if you ever happen to be a Democrat, entertainment and sports can be utilized to help you and improve your career, or can be used to destroy you through the media machine. And that's what you see here. We're not going to go into this article because if you ask me, there's no reason to go into the article. The only thing that you need to know is instead of a policy discussion, you might hear some of your favorite songs. All right. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about race obsessed Fox News. All right. And of course, we all know that Fox News is the most race obsessed news outlet in the world. And Fox News has been on a jihad to attempt to rewrite history. They are really shame sensitive when it comes to the legacy that the people who really, really love Fox News have in the United States. And they've been having a ongoing effort to try to, quote unquote, reverse the cultural realities and the cultural ideas of the foundation and building of the United States, which is one of the reasons why they call it the, quote unquote, culture war. I don't know why they did this, but they went and got Byron Donald. And Byron Donald is supposed to be the monolithian speaker for, quote unquote, all black people. Now, if this is a news agency and they actually do actual journalism, then they should be able to get these answers based on their own surveys and investigation, not just asking a, quote unquote, monolithian representative to give answers for an entire population of people based on his experiences or his opinions. But as you guys can see, Fox News always has a couple of dollars and some airspace for people who are willing to do that. We've seen them do that with several YouTubers. And the problem with this is that it broadcasts a false, undiversified message of what is actually going on the ground with black people here in the United States. Also, it allows them to choose the individual that has opinions and ideologies that are most similar to theirs to propagate and gaslight their audience. A lot of their audience would not be comfortable at all if they actually heard what a lot of us had to say, and they don't need to be comfortable. Nobody should just inherently be comfortable. Comfort is something that has to be earned, and it's something that has to be maintained. And if you ask me, none of these people have done anything to earn or maintain their own comfort. So the question that Byron Donald is asked is he's asked about things that Barack Obama said on the Kamala Harris campaign. Now, we all know that Barack Obama is a CEO level, corporate level Democrat, and corporate has been brought in because Kamala Harris's campaign is it's just falling. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just sinking. So they've brought in Obama, they've brought in Bill Clinton, and they've brought these people in to try to give Kamala Harris some type of foundation of credibility, which she's just not able to maintain. And again, as the campaign and the election season nears its end, I don't think anybody's asking any questions why the initial strategy was to keep Kamala Harris away from publicity. But we're going to take a look at this, and we're going to see, and we're going to also point out all of the race obsession and race stereotypes that Fox News has. And it's just interesting. Anytime they frame anything in regards to black voters, they make it seem like black people are just hopeless, just powerless, just unintelligent, just everybody sitting around asking for handouts, and all everybody does is just sit around at a barbershop all day. And it's very interesting. The same news organization, Fox, who literally attempts to get black people to say, oh, well, this is what the Democrats do, they do the exact same thing. They literally do the exact same thing, which is one of the reasons why I could never get down with this. Now, I did make the statement, right? I said, if my cryptocurrency blows up, quote unquote, I'm going, quote unquote, full MAGA. What did I mean by that? I explained that in the live stream, but what I mean by that does not mean to substantiate every single news talking point that Fox happens to make. What that means is I'm going to show people financial means and financial algorithms that you can do and that you can use to be able to position yourself to where your wealth can increase and flourish under conservative legislation. That's what that meant. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be out here banging with a red hat. That doesn't mean I'm going to be out here, substantiating and yes, man, everything somebody like a Byron Donald or a Tim Scott says. What that means is under a 4-year presidency, my investments that I have blew up enough for me to be able to retire. That is something huge. And if I can replicate that process with everybody, it's a first step to being able to close the racial wealth gap. So make no mistake. You know what I'm saying? Make no mistake. When I say I'm going full MAGA, what that means is I'm going to make America great for us. You know what I'm saying? MAGA us. Make America great for us. That don't necessarily mean anytime somebody get on Fox News and talk about some anti-black talking point, I'm going to be yes man and with a broken brim MAGA hat. Absolutely not. And again, this is one of the reasons why I could never get down with something like that.
Bringing Florida Congressman Byron Donald with me this morning. I thought Obama had a lot of clout in the black community, but he got a lot of pushback from that podcast host.
So again, this already shows where the lack of journalism is. They thought, quote unquote, Barack Obama had a quote unquote lot of clout in the quote unquote black community. Well, first and foremost, which black community, right? Because there's multiple black communities. And why would you make that assumption? Why would you make that assumption? If you ask me, there's no evidence that Barack Obama has clout in the black community. And the reason why there's no evidence that Barack Obama had clout in the black community is because Barack Obama did not do significantly better than other Democrats in the U.S. presidential election. He's right on the control line with literally every other Democrat. And besides Kamala Harris, all the other Democrats, for the most part, have been white. So statistically speaking, this is false.
Doesn't he have clout in the black community?
Some, but
I want you to see how the white guy is positioning Byron Donald as a monolith. Can't you speak for me, for your entire community? No one else is expected to have that expectation. However, people like Byron Donald will take this on as an opportunity and just go right ahead. And yes, I'm going to use my life experience, my individual experience, as a projective community experience. It's oddly bizarre.
the truth is that it's waning, and that's because Democrat policy has not only been disastrous for America, it's been disastrous for Black families and Black people across America. Stu, when the price of food is massively up well over 20%, the price of fixing your used car is up over 50%. When massive illegal immigration, which Barack Obama supports, which Kamala Harris wants, which Joe Biden did, when it's devastating.
So now a lot of people get really upset when people talk about quote unquote specifically for Black people, or when people say something and they focus the conversation on Black people. The white guy, right? The white guy, he asks specific questions about Black people. He's the one that asked the questions, right? He asked the questions. Now, the interesting thing about it is that when asked specific questions about Black people, Byron Donald gives all-inclusive answers. So he gives the all lives matter answers, because all of these issues that Byron Donald is speaking about, despite the fact that these are legitimate points and they're true, these are not issues that apply specifically to Black people. These are dilutionary Black issues. These are issues that anytime anybody addresses, anything specific to black people, the specifics get diluted and they all turn into quote unquote issues facing the entire America. This is a different form of benign neglect that you see very often occur.
Communities in every state in our country, black people are looking at that as well and saying, this is nuts. Why would we do this to ourselves? We need a change. And because Kamala Harris can't even answer a question, I mean, last night was a debacle. And because Barack Obama's running out there just basically saying, just vote for her because she's black, black people are saying, nah, dude, I'm thinking about my pocketbook. I'm thinking about my children. I'm thinking about the future of America. That's why he's getting pushback.
You may have seen this, Congressman Lawrence Jones from Fox. He visited a barber shop in Atlanta. He asked the people there what the number one...
So one thing that you'll also see in common with left and right politics is that for whatever reason, I don't know why this is, but it seems like white media thinks that the only place where you can find a bunch of black people is in jail or at a barber shop. And I really don't understand why the people who go on these shows don't ask these questions. I mean, you know, one thing that black people tend to do on social media is have panel discussions. If you ask me, the internet panel discussion might be a better place to pull up and do these interviews than just a barbershop. And the reason why is because in most cases, the internet panel has a wider range of random black people that can be on the panel at any time. And the barbershop, for the most part, is restricted to a statistical local area. They know that. They have researchers that know that. They have statisticians that know that. This is done on purpose. Okay.
One issue is facing black Americans right now. Here's what he had to say.
The number one issue I'd say facing black America is the trust of Washington, D.C.
I completely disagree with that. Trust is the number one issue with black America. I think distrust for the most part in the United States with black America has already been established. That is absolutely not an issue for anybody. And you guys can let me know what you think in the comment section. Is quote unquote trust, is that your number one issue facing this election? And let me ask you this, regardless of who you vote for, how is that going to quote unquote improve or deteriorate your quote unquote trust?
The inflation is crazy high right now. Interest rates are up, and we just don't believe what's in office right now is going to support us another 4 years. Kamala hasn't presented a plan yet on what she's going to do. All she's talked about is what she's going to give people. It don't matter if you give these people $25,000. They're not going to buy a house. They're not going to do it. Everybody wants something for free. You know, that's what the Democrats think. If we give you something, you'll vote for us. I don't need a handout. I need an opportunity.
So again, one thing that Fox News likes to do is Fox News likes, and white America as well, and even, you know, non-white America, right? They like to associate black people with quote unquote wanting handouts, which is fascinating because the massive amounts of Americans who have benefited from handouts from black people is unfathomable. The entire United States GDP post the Civil War has been a great handout that has been placed into everyone's hands for the most part, except for us. But Fox News is on this culture war binge to attempt to associate black people with the ills and downfalls of the United States. So they have to push this narrative of black people, quote unquote, being associated with a handout. This is one of the reasons why Fox News is inconsistent and poor journalists as they deal with the quote unquote Kamala Harris opportunity economy. When it comes to the opportunity economy, on the piece of paper that states for black men, Jesse Waters has a conniption and says that it's reparations. In regards to the quote unquote opportunity economy for Latino men, there's no Latino men groveling at a barbershop saying that they don't want any handouts, and there's nobody associating it with a handout or with reparations. It's very interesting. And the thing is that people have to not be quiet about these issues. They have to blow them up and make them go viral and press them on these issues until they completely stomp them out of existence.
That's very interesting. I don't need a handout. I need opportunity. What is Trump's appeal to black voters?
When he was president, the economy worked. People were making more money. Prices were stable. That's the general appeal. You add on top of that.
And now here's the thing, right? What Byron Donald is saying is interesting. I don't disagree with that. And I actually highlighted that in my other video. As a result of who Trump is and how Trump has done politics and his record in office the first term versus the second term, he doesn't have to position himself where he is doing that. And the reason why is because the economy has gotten so bad, and the situation here in the United States has gotten so bad under the Biden administration, and would probably get even worse under the Harris administration. For the most part, when it comes to a Trump economy, it's a binary question. Do you want to be able to continue to pay your bills and have disposable income? Yes or no? If you do, okay, well, then the choice is obvious. He doesn't have to make these kind of identity politics based positions. Now, here's the thing. The identity politics based positions, oh, they are absolutely necessary, because here in the United States, black people are 110% owed reparations. However, because of the situation that we have and the choices that are there, if you are a person that is going to vote, it would make the most sense to vote for a president that would have a higher likelihood of increasing or maintaining your disposable income and improving the economy so that you don't die of financial starvation. If you ask me, this is very, very simple. As far as the identity politics goes, when it comes to the quote unquote offerings of Kamala Harris is offering to the appeal of emotions, despite the fact that she may use buzzwords like reparations, despite the fact that she might use buzzwords like quote unquote racial injustice. As we can see, the Democrats have a template, and on that template is what they plan to do. The people who they want to get to vote for them, they'll stamp their name on that template and hand them that template and say, hey, these are the policies that are specifically for you. And then upon further research, what you'll find is that all of these policies are simply template policies with different letterheads on them. That being said, when it comes to comparing those things versus the other things, whatever is going to provide you with your basics should be the obvious choice. If you guys would agree, let me know in the comment section. If you disagree, also let me know in the comment section.
That the border was secured and we weren't getting into unnecessary wars and conflicts. That's the other appeal. Last piece is Donald Trump, whether you like the tweets or not, he was direct in what he was going to do, and he actually did it. There's comfort in that. So when people are comparing Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, they're comparing the last two presidential administrations. And without a doubt, Donald Trump had a better presidential administration. That's what you're hearing across the country. That's what you're hearing, no matter the demographic groups. More and more people are supporting Donald Trump. That's why he's going to win in 12 days.
You're in Pennsylvania campaigning for Trump. Why do you think he can turn that state red? What's the main issue that you're dwelling on in Pennsylvania?
Oh, man, it's energy, it's immigration, and it is our economy. The issue set really, Stu, is not changing no matter what state you're in. All the issue sets are the same. And so when you're on the ground, whether it's black voters in Philadelphia, where I've been, or steel workers out in Western Pennsylvania, where I've been, they're talking about the same thing. And the solution for what ails America is the 47th presidency of Donald Trump.
Wrapping it up nicely, Byron Donalds, Congressman. We appreciate you being here. Always. See you again real soon. Thanks.
So, yeah. And again, you know, for general purposes, the last part of what Byron Donald said, I wouldn't disagree, right? So I think that people have to understand the nuance. And I think one of the issues that people have is not being able to pay attention to the analytical information because of emotional interference and emotional thought pollution that occurs when it comes to making important decisions. All right. Now, you know, as far as quote unquote extra political means goes, when it comes to extra political means, you got to be aware of either president. You might not get your politician in office. So you got to be able to figure out how to be able to use the tools that are available to be able to use better tools in the future. And if you ask me, that in itself, that right there, that is the only way that people will ever be able to move forward or to be able to break the ice on some of these situations that we have. Being a spectator, sitting around waiting for manna to fall out of the sky, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff might have worked in the Bible, but it's 2024 and it ain't happening, you know what I'm saying, anytime soon. So let me know what you guys think of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash that like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and I will catch you all on the next video. All right, peace.